in order to be successful in your life, you need to have people who are successful around you. I feel like that's a pretty easy answer. Because the truth is not a lot of people think like that. They're like, oh, I'm going to bring my friends up. No, you're not. You know who's going to bring you up? Successful people. You need to be around those people. If you're not around those people, you're not going to get very far. And that's just the truth. There's a lot of people who are like, I want to be the greatest NBA player of all time. This is just an easy example. I want to be the greatest NBA player of all time. Well, how are you going to get there? Getting coached by the worst NBA player of all time? A mid-tier NBA player of all time? No. It's going to be the best NBA player of all time. And that is for any other thing that you want to do. If you want to be successful in business, you got to find a businessman who's the best businessman you can get around. If you want to be successful in, sales or this or that or this or that, you got to be around people that are after your goals and want to achieve the same things that you can achieve, that you were planning on achieving. So many people, like I said, just think they can build their lives out. That's just not true. You need to be around people that are like-minded. You need to be around people that will challenge you, yes, but in a good way, not in a bad way, and tell you to stop doing this or stop doing that. Your goals are way more possible if you have the right people around you. Right friends. Friends are everything. People... there's that quote, like, you are your friends. That's very true. The people that you're around the most are probably the people that you're gonna be alike, and that's just socially, even scientifically, that makes sense, because we're social creatures. We want to kind of adapt to the social situations we're placed into, so we want to be like the beings that we are around all the time. That's just basic human psychology. And if you're around people that are very successful, you want to be like them. If you want around people that aren't successful and they're failures, well, you want to be like them. If you want to be around the funniest people, you're going to be funny. If you want to do this, and that's the truth. A lot of people think like, oh, like that doesn't make sense, and that's not true. No, that is true. It is a fact. Okay, and it's something that is only getting truer the older you get. How many times do you see young people make friends at school and then they become losers, or then they become just like their friends? They become the exact same thing that they are. What do you want to be? What do you want to achieve? Let's find you some friends that can do that. If I wanted to ride bikes and be really good at bike riding, I would make friends who are really good at bike riding. If I want to be a comedian, I'd make friends who are good comedians. Not bad comedians. You can't be around bad comedians, then you'll be like bad comedians. Then you guys bounce your ideas off each other and they're just not funny. You want to be a good dirt bike rider, you got to be around good dirt bike riders. A lot of people don't realize that they accidentally train themselves to suck at whatever it is they're doing. You accidentally train yourself to be bad at something. You don't even realize it. Oh, why am I so bad at this? It's probably because you hang around people who are bad at it. And they do things that are bad for that specific thing, whether it's riding bikes or painting or this or that. You can't get your information on how to be better from somebody who's not good. How are they going to tell you how to get better? How are they going to tell you how to progress, how to proceed? Does that make sense? If you want to make $1 million, you have to be around people that made $1 million. If you want to be around people that didn't make that, then be around people that didn't make that. A lot of people are like, oh, it's who you know. It is. It's exactly who you know. Which is why I concur that you should get to know as many people as you possibly can. Doesn't that make a little bit of sense? just a tiny little bit of sense. Doesn't that make just a little bit of sense? Let me repeat that one more time for the people that missed it. People say it's who you know. Yes, I agree. It is who you know. So why don't you try and get to know as many people as you can? Doesn't that make so much sense? Doesn't that sound like the easiest way to success? Because it is. It's the only way. It's the only way to succeed in the things that you want. You know. What is the likelihood, and this is, let's say you have an idea that's so great. What's the likelihood of asking 100 millionaires if they want to invest in your idea? And them saying no. All of them? All of them are saying no? If they're all saying no, you have a bad idea and you haven't written it out properly. But if you have written it out properly, what's the likelihood of them saying no? Is your plan worth that? Question mark. Is it? Do you think your plan is worth the amount that you're trying to get? The investment that you're trying to receive? You know, because if it's not worth that, then you got a big problem there. How do you make your plan $1 million investment? Ooh, now we're asking the right questions. Now we're asking the good questions. You know, a lot of people are like, oh, I can't make that. Yeah, you can. There are plenty of people. If you use your brain, you can make an investment. You can make a plan that will bring you money. Have you tried it? Have you tried to, you know, have you really tried it? Serious. A lot of people haven't really tried it. A lot of people have just fake tried it. They half-butted it. They put in a little bit of effort and expected a lot of result. No, you have to put in a lot of effort. But you have to put in a lot of effort in the right area. If you do that, then you'll be successful. If you don't do that, you're going to regret that one. You're going to regret it a lot. Yeah. How do you want to gain success? That's another big question. Am I bleeding on the bottom of my foot? Sorry. How do you want to gain success? That is a question. How fast do you want to gain it? Good question. You know, a lot of people would be like, I'd like to be a millionaire tomorrow. Okay. What is your plan that you have to obtain $1 million by tomorrow? There's people that can do that, I guarantee it. There's people that can make $1 million in the next hour with nothing. Nothing but a pencil, a pen, and their words, and they will have $1 million in their hands next hour. I'm so serious, dude. So serious. Like they could look at it, figure it out, and obtain it. And they'd have it. Legally, they'd have it fast, and they'd have it in the next hour. You'd be like, what the hell? I don't have that knowledge. Duh. That's why we're trying to get you the knowledge to obtain that in the next hour. Until you can make $1 million in the next hour, well, we're not doing the right thing. We got to figure out how to do it. You know? A lot of people think they can't do it. No, that's not true. You can do it. You're just not doing it. You're not trying hard enough. You're not around the right people. Let's get around the right people. Let's do the right things. And then we will obtain what your goals are. Anything is possible. You just need to make it possible. You need to be around the things that make it possible. If you're not doing that, then you're not around the right things. You're not doing the right things. You're not trying hard enough. You're not applying yourself in the right areas. You're applying yourself in the wrong areas. That's why you're not receiving the right sources. You're not receiving the right things. You're not receiving whatever. A lot of people are going to be like, oh, he's 23. He hasn't done it yet. No, he's just talking out of his butt. Oh, I mean, I'm talking, but it's not out of my butt. Maybe I'm extreme. Maybe I'm crazy. Maybe I'm just coming up with ideas. No. They're very real. This is possible. Don't think that it's not. If you think that it's not possible, then you're the problem. Let's do it. Let's start getting to that area where you're making the right calls. You could make, if you made 500 phone calls right now, you could make $1 million. You could. 500 phone calls with the right idea and the right ability, and you'll make $1 million. You'll be like, oh shoot, how did I do that? Someone will pay you $1 million. You'll be like, how did I do that? Well, you asked for $1 million first of all, and then you're giving them $1 million worth of their stuff, which you should do. Someone pays you that. What's $1 million worth of stuff? Well, it's probably a lot. I'm not going to say it's a lot less than what you think. It's a good bit, but it's not as impossible of a number to reach as you'd think. A lot of people think it's impossible, so they'd never achieve that in the next 30, 40 years. A lot of people haven't figured out that time is worth a lot more than money. Ooh. Here's why time is worth a lot more than money. If you made $10 million in the next 150 years, were you rich? It's $100,000 a year. It's actually less than that, $90,000 a year. Next 150 years, you have $10 million. You're dead. You have no reason. Make $10 million the next year, then you're rich. Made a lot of money. Yeah. Let's turn our brains on and think on how we can obtain the goal that you're trying to reach, whatever it is. I talk about money because I feel like money is just the easiest way to place a word on it, you know? Let's start achieving. Go out and start achieving, buddy.